Chapter 71 Tang Sanampampampampampampampampampamp Qinghe. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 71 Tang San Qinghe. The Shrek people were very surprised by Xiaofei's efforts. At this time, Ning Rongrong said, Xiaofei, in your eyes, apart from practicing to become stronger, is there nothing else? Xiaofei wanted to say, I value family, friends and responsibilities. You are all knowledgeable people. You know the current state of Douluo Continent. I practice hard to keep myself, my family and friends alive. I don't want to appear powerless when the disaster comes. Everyone was thinking, especially Ning Rongrong. When the Seven Treasures Glazed sect was destroyed, she was so helpless. At this time, Yu Xiaojiang walked in. Xiaofei, Tang San just came back from outside. Go to the backyard and talk to him. Xiaofei nodded and followed Yu Xiaojiang to the backyard. Entering the room in the backyard, in front of him was a young man with blue hair and a very handsome face, just like Tang San met in the Slaughter City. Tang San spoke first. Xiaofei, long time no see, I am Tang San, my appearance has changed a little now. Xiaofei nodded and said, I know you are Tang San, I already knew it during the slaughter. Tang San asked a little strangely, Xiaofei, can you tell me how you recognized me? Xiaofei smiled, Tang San, in the Slaughter City, you used those tricks, including body movements, techniques, martial arts and other things, I was sure you were Tang San. By the way, Tang San, how did you get out of the slaughter? I remember that many people died when I walked the Hell Road. I'm afraid the King of Slaughter can't open the Hell Road again. Tang San shook his head, after you left, the entire Slaughter City was mostly empty, and I finally got out through other methods. Xiaofei thought to himself, it seems that Tang Hao brought him out. Xiaofei thought for a moment, and then said, by the way, how is Xiao Wu now? Tang San said in a deep voice, do you also want Xiao Wu's spirit rings and spirit bones? Xiaofei shook his head, I am not interested in the spirit rings and spirit bones of the 100,000-year-old soft bone rabbit. Besides, Xiao Wu and I are classmates anyway. How is Uncle Hao's injury now? How do you know my dad was injured? Xiaofei smiled, that day Uncle Hao took you and Xiao Wu to fight against 7 titled Douluo, and he was able to retreat unscathed. How could he not be injured? Tang San looked a little sad, my dad's injury is now more serious, and it will be more difficult to recover. Next, both of them talked about some recent cultivation situations, including some cultivation experiences and the like. They even talked about some things in Nodding College and Xiao Wu and the other two, but every time they talked about this, Tang San would look very gloomy. It is estimated that Xiao Wu has been sacrificed to him now, and Xiaofei sighed for a while. It seems that the trajectory of history will not be easily changed by individuals. Without external forces, some things will still happen, and the Tiando Palace change is expected to begin soon. Besides, Qian Renxue probably couldn't help it. Xiaofei just returned to the hotel when someone knocked on the door. When he opened the door, it turned out to be Qian Renxue. Xiaofei couldn't help but mutter in his heart, you, the angel for free, are here quite quickly. Xiaofei hurriedly saluted, Your Highness, how come you have time to visit me? Qinghe smiled, I just heard that classmate Xiaofei came to Tiando City. Here, I still have to do my duty as a host. Why don't we go to the restaurant to talk in detail? Xiaofei heard what His Highness said and readily agreed. The two came to the independent private room on the top floor of the restaurant and sat down next to each other. Xiaofei took a sip of the freshly brewed tea and said, It's really good tea, worthy of being prepared by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. Qinghe smiled and said, I didn't expect that Xiaofei also knows the tea ceremony. This is the top-grade green tea specially provided by the royal family. I'll pack 2 kilograms for you to take away later. Xiaofei muttered again in his heart, I think you are the top-grade green tea. Xiaofei said bluntly, Your Highness the Crown Prince, I know nothing about the tea ceremony. I just think it's a little fragrant. Qinghe was speechless. But Qinghe still smiled elegantly, Xiaofei, what do you want to do in Tiando City this time? If you need anything, just speak up. Xiaofei smiled with ill intentions in his heart and said, Your Highness the Crown Prince, I wonder how your investigation of the Wuhuan Hall we talked about last time is going. Shui Qinghe's face turned pale. After Shui Qinghe talked to Xiaofei last time, he immediately arranged for his subordinate Shi Mao to investigate the bishop of Gingxin City, Miles. As a result, Shi Mao was so angry that he was speechless. Miles actually bullied men and women, levied heavy taxes, and did all kinds of evil. As an elder of the Spirit Hall, Shi Mao naturally despised such people who corrupted the Spirit Hall. Then, the personnel who were arranged to investigate at the grassroots level came back with various news, but there was basically no good news. The reputation of the Spirit Hall is very bad among some people, especially some managers with despicable behavior. Xiaofei drank tea and said softly, Your Highness, the reputation of the Spirit Hall has deteriorated. Isn't it a good thing for the Tiando Empire? Shui Qinghe looked a little embarrassed. I just feel sorry for the persecuted people of the Tiando Empire. Xiaofei shook his head. Some of the behaviors of the Spirit Hall personnel are half because of their despicable character, and the other half is probably the indulgence of the Tiando Empire and the Xinglua Empire. I don't believe these things, the two emperors don't know. It's just that they deliberately indulged, and even fueled the flames. Shui Qinghe, who was sitting opposite, looked even darker. Xiaofei was secretly happy. Xiaofei took advantage of Shui Qinghe's absent-mindedness, and approached Shui Qinghe as if to comfort Shui Qinghe. He held Shui Qinghe's hand with one hand and put his other hand on Shui Qinghe's shoulder. I was a little lost in thought, but I didn't refuse. Xiaofei, on the other hand, smelled the fragrance coming from the Serum River and was intoxicated. Shui Qinghe seemed to suddenly come to his senses and pushed Xiaofei away, barely letting out a scream. Xiaofei deliberately showed a confused expression, and Shui Qinghe said awkwardly, Sorry, classmate Xiaofei, I don't like people coming close to me. Xiaofei said with a solemn expression, Your Highness, your behavior may be a sign of illness. Classmate Xiaofei, why do you say this? It's just a living habit. Xiaofei shook his head. His Royal Highness, you are the foundation of the Dou Empire. Marriage and heirs are the top priority. This is also related to the continuation of the Tiando Empire's bloodline. As a prince, you are nearly 30 years old, and you are still. It's unbelievable to have children without being married and without any scandal. Shui Qinghe smiled awkwardly and said, It's just that I've been busy with state affairs. But your issue of heirs is also the biggest state matter. I think you may have some mental illness. I have rich experience in this area. Do you want me to help you? Shui Qinghe said, I won't trouble you, Xiaofei. I've been dating a woman recently and we should get married soon. I'll invite you over for a wedding drink then. Shui Qinghe quickly changed the subject. Xiaofei came to Tiando City. I wonder what matters need to be dealt with. Xiaofei said solemnly, I have always heard that the treasure of the Tiando Empire, the vast sea and the universe cover, is infinitely mysterious, so I came to Tiando City specifically to take a look. Shui Qinghe also had a look on his face. Classmate Xiaofei, I'm afraid this is a bit difficult to handle. The Hanhai universe shield is a national treasure, and it's hard for even me to see it. Xiaofei smiled and said, Of course I won't lend you the national treasure in vain, so I will naturally express my gratitude. After saying that, Xiaofei took out the 2,000-year-old fire ant right arm bone. Looking at the soul bone that Xiaofei took out, Shui Qinghe complained for a while, How dare you take out such a young soul bone? Shui Qinghe shook his head. Although this soul bone is good, the vast sea universe shield is the national treasure of our Tiando Empire after all. Xiaofei smiled and said, Of course it's not just this soul bone. After saying that, Xiaofei took out a jade box. There was a huge tulip in the jade box, and the fragrance emanating from it gave people a sense of grandeur. This is a medicinal herb I accidentally got, Qilua tulip fairy. If you take it, you can absorb the essence of the world and the sun and the moon. If a person with the royal swan martial spirit eats it, the martial spirit can evolve into the legendary emerald swan. If the Seven Treasures Glazed Pagoda spirit master eats it, it can even evolve into the legendary 9 Treasures Glazed Pagoda. If this flower is presented to Emperor Shui, the spirit of Emperor Shui can evolve, absorb the essence of heaven and earth, and extend his life. Xiaofei smiled. Shui Qinghe felt that the Qilua tulip fairy in the jade box had a strong attraction to him, especially to his martial spirit. Shui Qinghe asked doubtfully, "Dear classmates, if you have such a fairy grass, why don't you just go to your father?" Xiaofei shook his head. "If you go to Emperor Shui, you will get involved in the disputes between various forces. I am just communicating with His Highness the Crown Prince as a friend. I believe His Highness the Crown Prince understands what I mean." Shui Qinghe nodded, and then quietly took away the soul bone. Then he took out a token and handed it to Xiaofei. "This is the token of my prince's mansion. Since we are friends, with this token, you can come in and out of the prince's mansion to see me at any time." Xiaofei took the token. On the front of the token was the word prince, and on the back was engraved with the swan spirit. Xiaofei thought about Shui Qinghe's actions. This wave should be stable. Chapter 74 Hanhai City. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This time, Xiaofei and his 7 companions went to the Sea God Island. The Element Academy made a lot of preparations. A lot of various materials were prepared. Everyone's storage ring was full, and even the driver was carefully selected. Now among the 7 people in the group, Xiaofei is level 75, Huo Wu is level 73, Huo Wushuang is level 72, Shui Binger is level 62, Feng Xiaotian is level 65, Yang Pejuan is level 52, and Niu Meng is level 52. Along the way, the 7 people were cultivating their soul power and communicating with each other about some cultivation experiences. After half a month of traveling, the group finally got to the destination. Of this time, Hanhai City. According to Xiaofei's plan, everyone will stay in Hanhai City for a while to learn some basic information about Sea Soul Masters. Xiaofei and his 3 companions have been to Hanhai City before, and they still have a certain understanding of Hanhai City. The other 4 have never even seen the sea, let alone contact with Sea Soul Masters. In the next few days, everyone needs to fight in the big fighting soul field. And through Xiaofei's questioning, except for Shui Binger, all the others are landlubbers. It would be troublesome if they fight in the sea. At the Hanhai City Soul Fighting Arena, the 7 people first bought a ticket for a box and entered the Soul Fighting Arena. They immediately felt that it was completely different from the Soul Fighting Arena they had seen before. The Soul Fighting Arena was not a huge arena like the large Soul Fighting Arena they had seen before, but a huge pool. The diameter of the pool was 100 meters, and the clear blue water was like a huge sapphire without ripples. The soul fighting pool was circular, with a diameter of 108 meters and a depth of 10 meters. A soul fighter who left the vertical range of the soul fighting pool was judged as a loser. A soul fighter who voluntarily surrendered or lost the ability to fight was judged as a loser. Xiaofei looked at the situation in the arena and said, "During this period of time, we must learn to swim first. Everyone must learn how to swim. Then, when fighting souls, we must ensure that we can fight in the water." Xiaofei and the 7 people booked a small beach to practice swimming and fighting. Shui Binger, who was very good at swimming, acted as a teacher. After the 6 people entered the beach, they always felt uncomfortable in various ways. The resistance of the sea water was too great, and even basic exercise methods could not work. Sometimes they simply choked on the water, and sometimes they shouted first soul skill, but the soul skill did not come out, but they were choked. In other words, now several people have to learn to swim first, and even their fighting habits have to change. The worst are Huo Wushuang, Huo Wu, and Xiaofei. Fire attribute soul masters are more restricted in the water. When the martial soul is summoned, the sea water will cause great pressure on the martial soul, especially Huo Wu's Hokage martial soul. After a day of training, Huo Wu was miserable, but Xiaofei, since he is now the ultimate flame, it will not go out in the sea water. This made Huo Wu and Huo Wushuang very depressed. The training lasted for a week. Except for Huo Wu, everyone else basically mastered the underwater fighting method. Huo Wushuang's unicorn fire dragon directly turned into a unicorn Tyrannosaurus. Xiaofei's fire phoenix was also greatly restricted in the water. No matter the attack speed or soul power consumption, it was far worse than on the mainland. Fortunately, it could fly on the water. The one with the least impact was Niu Meng. No matter where he was, his defense was very good. Next was various fighting spirits. Except for Huo Wu, all participated. Huo Wu simply gave up, I don't want to play anymore. In the fighting soul field, Shui Binger, Feng Xiaotian, Niu Meng, and Yang Pejuan were fighting non-stop. There were 5 fighting souls every day, and no matter who won or lost, they had to compete in 5 games. As for Xiaofei and Huo Wushuang, since there were no fighting souls of the Soul Saint level in the fighting soul field, the 2 fought souls in the rented beach. Under the water surface of the beach, Huo Wushuang and Xiaofei fought happily. Xiaofei's 3rd and 4th soul skills had relatively little effect under the sea surface, while Huo Wushuang paid more attention to the application of strength. After 10 days, Xiaofei and the other 6 basically mastered the fighting soul method under the sea surface. Xiaofei said to everyone, there are still 2 main things that must be done. First, we have to find a boat that is willing to take us to the Sea God Island. Second, we have to buy a soul guide ship that can walk independently on the sea, so that we can protect ourselves in case of wind and waves. After listening to Xiaofei's words, everyone agreed. Xiaofei personally went to find a ship. Since it was necessary to travel far in the sea, especially to Poseidon Island, the requirements for the ship were very high. Xiaofei directly found the largest ship nearby. After the 2 sides negotiated the conditions, they agreed to set off in a week. Before such a large ship departs, various preparations must be made, including supplies and personnel. Of course, Xiaofei did not say that he was going to Poseidon Island, but just copied a map and asked the captain to follow the map. Xiaofei also showed his strength to intimidate the captain and others to prevent pirates. When Xiaofei had negotiated the ship issue and just returned to the hotel, Huo Wu ran back excitedly. It turned out that they had bought a ship-type soul guide at the auction. Xiaofei took the soul guide and took a closer look. He couldn't help but complain in his heart, isn't this the Dragon Abyss boat used by Tang San and his friends in the original novel? How can there always be such a coincidence in the world? Xiaofei shook his head and sighed, who cares? I didn't buy it from them. I just bought it at a normal auction. Since arriving in Hanhai City, Xiaofei and the other 7 have become fascinated by Hanhai City's seafood and feast on it almost every day. In fact, Niu Meng's strength has greatly increased after his martial soul evolved into the ancient dragon rhinoceros, but his appetite has also increased accordingly. Every time he eats like an African refugee. Even Shui Binger, who has always been elegant, has changed her previous image and is particularly fond of seafood. Xiaofei sneaked into Huo Wu's room several times at night when he was free. Although Huo Wu repeatedly rejected Xiaofei, Xiaofei refused to leave with his thick skin, and the 2 of them eventually had a big fight. The night before departure, Xiaofei called everyone together again. There are various dangers in the sea, including powerful sea soul beasts and many pirates. We must pay special attention to safety. Because Feng Xiaotian and I can fly, the 2 of us are responsible for keeping watch to ensure that the ship follows the route on our map. Feng Xiaotian nodded in agreement. Above the sea, if we feel there is any possibility of danger, we must inform others immediately. Many sea areas are very dangerous, especially the Demon Whale Sea. The strength of the deep-sea demon whale king there even exceeds that of a 100,000-year-old soul beast. Huo Wu thought for a while and said, since we know that the deep-sea demonic whale king is a 100,000-year-old soul beast, why are there no powerful people at the title Douluo level who want to hunt him? Xiaofei shook his head. There should actually be many sea soul beasts in the sea, all of which have reached the 100,000-year-old level. But because they are in the sea, they can swim to the deep sea when they encounter danger, and the land soul beasts the division is very restricted in the sea, so it is very difficult to hunt the 100,000-year-old sea soul beast. Early the next morning, Xiaofei and 7 others arrived at the agreed ship. According to the communication, they paid half of the gold soul coins first, and then everyone boarded the ship. The crew on the ship was obviously well trained. When the captain gave an order, the people on the shore untied the ropes. All the crew members carried out their work in an orderly manner, and the ship began to move towards the deep sea. Only when they are truly at sea can everyone see the real seascape and understand the majesty of the sea. The 7 Xiaofei people stood on the bow of the boat, high-spirited and brave against the wind and waves. Chapter 75, Landing on the Sea God Island. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Perhaps it was because he was shocked by Xiaofei's strength in front of him, but the whole road was relatively quiet, and there were no major surprises. When occasionally encountering difficult sea soul beasts, Feng Xiaotian and Shui Binger also showed that the Soul Emperor's strength far surpassed the captain and the others. Moreover, the strength of the two men in sea combat is not inferior to that of the Sea Spirit Master. 10 days later, everyone was close to Poseidon Island. They saw a blue light spot in the distance. In everyone's perception, there seemed to be a powerful sea soul beast in front of them. When the captain and others knew that Poseidon Island was ahead, they did not dare to take another step forward. As a sea soul master, I still have a certain understanding of Poseidon Island. Poseidon Island is the holy land of sea soul masters and is surrounded by very powerful mythical beasts that protect the island. Any aggressive behavior will be regarded as provocation. The captain looked ahead and said seriously, ahead is Poseidon Island. There are demonic great white sharks patrolling Poseidon Island. The demonic great white sharks are powerful. Ordinary 1,000-year soul beasts can defeat 10,000-year soul beasts in the ocean. Especially the legendary demon soul great white shark king, which is a 100,000-year-old soul beast and is said to be the mount of Poseidon. Xiaofei said to everyone, Poseidon Island is relatively exclusive to outsiders. We try not to attack people or creatures on Poseidon Island. Huowu said, then how do we get there? But by flying over, we can avoid any conflict with Poseidon Island. This place is very close to Poseidon Island, and with Xiaofei's soul power, he can completely fly there with everyone. After paying the remaining gold soul coins, Xiaofei was possessed by Wuhuan, and his soul power turned into a huge fire phoenix. Everyone jumped on the back of the fire phoenix, and the fire phoenix soared into the sky and flew quickly to Poseidon Island. As they get closer and closer to Poseidon Island, everyone is more and more impressed by Poseidon Island. Poseidon Island is not like an island, but more like an independent continent. Looking around, Poseidon Island is completely green. This huge island gives them the feeling of returning to Douluo Continent. At a glance, there is no end in sight at all. There are all kinds of plants growing on the island, many of which they cannot name. There is a breath of freshness, warmth and refreshing in the air, and there is a faint cry and murmur of the sea in the wind. Under the sunlight, the white and fine sand grains like small crystals on the beach will glow with silver light, especially in the center of Poseidon Island. 7 huge stone pillars stand in 7 different directions on Poseidon Island, guarding the entire Poseidon Island like 7 mountains. In the center, there is also a huge palace, overlooking the entire Poseidon Island like an ordinary emperor. Xiaofei led everyone to fly over the sea, and sea spirit beasts flew out from time to time, and even a huge white shark appeared, but Xiaofei dodged them all. When Xiaofei came to the beach, what he felt was the tranquility. The sea and the sky were the same color, and the gulls were flying, just like a paradise. After various exercises and a lot of hard work, the 7 people finally arrived at Poseidon Island. Everyone was very excited. When they got here, they also believed in becoming stronger. Suddenly, there was a flash of soul power around them, and 7 or 8 soul masters in yellow clothes surrounded everyone. The leader shouted, "Who are you? Why did you trespass on our Poseidon Island?" You can carefully observe the clothes of several people. They are wearing yellow clothes. According to white, yellow, purple, black and red, they should be the deacons on the 2nd floor. Xiaofei was afraid that there would be a conflict between the two parties, so he quickly stepped forward and said, "We admire the reputation of Poseidon Island and hope to pass the test and join Poseidon Island." The leading soul master said, "You are land soul masters. Although I don't know how you entered Poseidon Island, please leave Poseidon Island now. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude." Xiaofei hurriedly arrived. "I heard that land soul masters can also pass the Poseidon assessment to join Poseidon Island. We are here just to take the assessment." The leader of the soul master laughed and said, "Although I don't know how you know the rules of Poseidon Island, Lord Poseidon will be very strict in the assessment of land soul masters. The difficulty is 10 times that of Sea Soul Masters. Many assessments of Sea Soul Masters take 10 years completed, but the time given to Land Soul Masters is only 1 year, and no Earth Soul Masters have come to take the assessment for decades. Xiaofei said firmly, "Senior, now that we are here, we will not leave easily. No matter what kind of test it is, we hope to try it. If we don't even have the courage to participate in the assessment, then we are not worthy of being a Soul Master." The other 6 people heard Xiaofei's words and said firmly, "Senior, please let us take part in the assessment." That the Soul Master leader looked at everyone's expressions. "One last time, I would like to remind you that the Land Soul Master assessment will be very cruel and dangerous. It is still too late for you to quit now, but once it starts, it will be impossible to quit." The little plain man nodded seriously, "We will never quit. Please help us arrange the assessment, Senior." The Soul Master leader's ears suddenly moved, as if he had received some message. He looked at everyone and said, "I hope you won't regret it." The Soul Master leader led everyone away from the beach and towards a forest. There seemed to be some special suppression in the forest, and everyone's perception had become much worse. After walking through the woods, what comes into view is a sea with a piece of land in the middle of the sea and a huge stone pillar in the middle of the land. There is a person sitting under the stone pillar. The person is wearing black clothes. The leader of the Soul Master revealed his soul ring, 2 yellow, 2 purple and 2 black. He was actually a Soul Emperor, and he was just a deacon in yellow. The leader of the Soul Master said to Xiaofei and the other 7 people, "Welcome to the sea in the sea. That is the Seahorse Holy Pillar, one of the 7 holy pillars of Poseidon Island. All those who need to be tested will be given test questions by the 7 holy pillars." The leader of the Soul Masters used his soul power to respectfully say in the direction of the stone pillar, "Your Excellency Seahorse, there are foreign land Soul Masters coming to accept the test. Please allow me." Under the urging of soul power, the voice of the middle-aged man in yellow was transmitted like a straight line, covering the surging waves in the sea and the sea. The black-clothed man sitting under the Seahorse Holy Pillar opened his eyes, and a powerful soul power instantly passed through the sea surface and covered everyone. Everyone knew that this was the breath of the title Douluo. A voice came into everyone's ears, "Land Soul Masters want to accept the test of His Majesty the Sea God. You can only be qualified to accept the test if you pass through the sea and come to the Seahorse Holy Pillar." Immediately afterwards, the Seahorse Holy Pillar flashed a burst of light, and a very powerful soul power directly covered the sea surface. It was obviously forbidden to fly, and it could only pass through the seabed. Xiaofei and others knew that the first test since arriving at Poseidon Island had begun. Chapter 76 Seahorse Douluo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaofei looked at the sea in front of him and thought for a while. "Huo Wushuang, you go first and demonstrate. Remember, you must not hurt the sea soul beast." Huo Wushuang nodded. Among the crowd, Huo Wushuang is basically the strongest except Xiaofei. Huo Wushuang's martial spirit possessed him and turned into a huge one-horned fire dragon. Wushuang deliberately controlled the amount of fire, and basically no flames were exposed. This was the result of training with Xiaofei on the beach. Huo Wushuang activated his first soul skill, Burning Silence Dragon Flame. The one-horned fire dragon spit out an extreme flame from its mouth, and the sea water was instantly evaporated in a straight line. Huo Wushuang ran quickly towards the straight line, and a larger wave hit Huo Wushuang again. Huo Wushuang activated his first soul skill again, and the wave was directly evaporated. When the flames were only 5 meters away from the Seahorse Holy Pillar, Huo Wushuang directly faced the waves and forcibly collided with them, and finally came to the front of the Seahorse Holy Pillar. Seahorse Douluo nodded. "Strong martial spirit and physical fitness, good fire control ability, good, you can accept the test of the Sea God." Huo Wushuang nodded, "Thank you." After watching Huo Wushuang pass, others also began to be eager to try. The second one was Feng Xiaotian. Feng Xiaotian directly activated the second soul skill, Double Wolf Possession, and then activated the fourth soul skill, Demon Wolf Storm, and a huge tornado was generally emitted from the sea in the sea, and Feng Xiaotian quickly passed through the sea in the sea. Seahorse Douluo nodded, your 2 soul skills are very good, which can use the effect of wind on sea water to form a tornado. It's a very good method. Next is Yang Pejuan. Yang Pejuan directly used his 3rd soul skill, break. A spear light on the soul-breaking gun directly separated the sea water, and then Yang Pejuan moved forward rapidly on the sea surface. Yang Pejuan's body speed was almost second only to Xiaofei and Feng Xiaotian among the 7 people. In this way, Yang Pejuan continuously activated the 3rd soul skill, continued to advance, and finally came to the front of the opposite Seahorse Douluo. At this time, Yang Pejuan was already sweating all over. Obviously, it was a huge consumption. Seahorse Douluo nodded slightly. Your soul power is low, but your attack is very good. Among soul masters of the same level, your attack should be the strongest. The next one is Huo Wu, who is also the most difficult to pass among the 7 people. Huo Wu directly activated the 3rd soul skill, Resist Fire Ring. Under the effect of the Resist Fire Ring, the surrounding seawater was either evaporated or repelled. What happened next was unexpected. Huo Wu actually pushed the Resist Fire Ring forward directly. In the end, relying on the Resist Fire Ring, she pushed forward all the way and came directly in front of Seahorse Douluo. Seahorse Douluo smiled, "Little girl, your martial soul is the most restricted in the sea water, but you pushed it through with your deep soul power and almost perfect fire control ability, which is not bad." Shui Binger was also the most relaxed among all the people. Shui Binger directly turned the seawater around her body into ice, and then walked gracefully on the ice and walked over easily. It made Seahorse Douluo a little uncomfortable. Finally, Seahorse Douluo said, "Little girl, your control over ice is very strong. I haven't seen a soul master who has such a good control over ice for a long time." Niu Meng was relatively simple. He directly walked through the sea with his martial soul. With his powerful defense ability, the surrounding sea soul beasts were helpless against Niu Meng's defense, and finally walked through the sea in the sea. Seahorse Douluo did not comment on Niu Meng directly. It was too speechless. Where did this reckless person come from? Finally, it was Xiaofei. Xiaofei directly activated the 2nd soul power, Fire Rain Meteor. One by one, the flame feathers flew to the sea surface like an overwhelming blanket, and a large area of the sea surface was instantly evaporated, but Xiaofei did not stop, but activated the 2nd soul skill while walking. Finally, Xiaofei easily came in front of Seahorse Douluo. Seahorse Douluo nodded, "Your flames are very strong and domineering, and you have a very good control over your soul skills. Judging from your consumption, your soul power is also very deep." Seahorse Douluo smiled and said, "I didn't expect so many geniuses to suddenly appear on the continent. Judging from your combat experience and soul power level, you have all undergone rigorous training." Seahorse Douluo suddenly thought of something, his face changed, and a pressure suddenly pressed on everyone. Except for Xiaofei, everyone else seemed to be under considerable pressure. Xiaofei said quickly, "Senior Seahorse Douluo, I wonder why you suddenly got angry. We all have great respect for the sea god." Seahorse Douluo said in a deep voice, "Given your age and soul power level, and your different attributes and martial spirits, which big force trained you geniuses?" Xiaofei immediately understood why Seahorse Douluo was angry, and said quickly, "Senior Seahorse Douluo, we are from the Element Academy, not from the Spirit Hall. Some of us have a feud with the Spirit Hall." Hearing what Xiaofei just said, Seahorse Douluo's face became much calmer. "The Spirit Hall has always coveted our Sea God Island. Many years ago, they even sent people to invade the Sea God Island, trying to blaspheme the majesty of our Sea God. Although they were defeated by us, they have always been unwilling to give up. Especially you are all gifted, and your martial spirits are different. Except for the Spirit Hall, no other force has so many geniuses with different martial spirits. So I doubt that you said that they were spies sent by the Spirit Hall." Although Seahorse Douluo's tone was much better, the pressure on everyone did not fade at all. "We are indeed not from the Spirit Hall, we are from the Elemental Academy." Xiaofei said quickly. Seahorse Douluo looked puzzled. "Although my Sea God Island is far away from the mainland, I am not unaware of the mainland's affairs. When did the mainland have an elemental academy with so many geniuses? Xiaofei said quickly, Senior, our elemental academy is a newly established high-level Soul Master Academy. It was jointly established by the original Blazing Fire Academy, Divine Wind Academy, Tianshui Academy, and the Pa clan and Yu clan affiliated with the original Haotian sect. The purpose of our college is to do everything for teaching and never participate in any sect power struggle. When Seahorse Douluo heard about Tianshui Academy and Haotian sect, he thought about it briefly and removed the pressure on everyone. Haotian sect and Wuhuan Palace have a feud, he still knows this. Tell me about your life experience and martial arts. Don't lie. Xiaofei and others quickly began to introduce themselves. Wang Xiaofei, born as a commoner, former student of Blazing Fire Academy, now a student of Blazing Fire Department of Elemental Academy, Martial Soul Fire Phoenix, Level 75, Soul Saint. Huo Wu, originally from Blazing Fire Academy, his grandfather is the Dean Huatiancheng. Now he is a student of Blazing Fire Department of Elements Academy, Martial Soul Hokage, Level 73 Soul Saint. Huo Wushuang, originally from Blazing Fire Academy, his grandfather is the Dean Huatiancheng. Now he is a student of Blazing Fire Department of Elemental Academy, a Martial Soul One-Horned Fire Tyrant, and a Level 72, Soul Saint. Feng Xiaotian was originally from the Divine Wind Academy. His grandfather was Dean Feng Xian. He is now a student of the Divine Wind Department of the Elements Academy, a two-headed wolf of the Martial Spirit Gale, and a Level 65 Soul Emperor. Shui Binger, originally from Tianshui College, her teacher was Dean Lu Ruyan. Now she is a student of the Tianshui Department of the College of Elements. She is a Martial Soul Ice Phoenix and a Level 62 Soul Emperor. Yang Pajuan is from the Pa clan. His grandfather is Yang Wudi, the clan leader. He is now a student of the Gung Gold Department of the Elements Academy. He possesses a Martial Soul-Breaking Soul Gun and is a Level 52 Soul Emperor. Niu Meng is from the Yu clan, and his grandfather is the clan leader Niu Gao. He is now a student of the Earth Department of the Academy of Elements. He is a Martial Soul, the Ancient Dragon Rhinoceros, and a Level 52 Soul Emperor. After listening to the introductions of the 7 people, the corner of Seahorse Douluo's mouth twitched a little. Looking at these 7 people, the highest one is less than 30 years old, and the rest are generally under 25 years old. There are 3 Soul Saints, 2 Soul Emperors, and 2 Soul Kings. With such talent, they are all geniuses. Seahorse Douluo straightened his expression. Very good, you are all qualified to participate in my Poseidon Island assessment. I used my soul power to suppress you just now. On the one hand, I wanted to prevent Spirit Hall spies from sneaking into Poseidon Island. On the other hand, I wanted to let's test your strength and see that your performance is very good. The 7 Xiaofei people quickly saluted and thanked him. Chapter 77 7 Sacred Pillars Assessment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seahorse Douluo slowly walked to the front of the holy pillar, his face full of piety. Come up, one person. The 7 Xiaofei people were a little nervous, knowing that the real test was coming. The first one to play was Huo Wushuang. Xiaofei had already made arrangements for the order of playing in the assessment. Huo Wushuang was the first to play, and Shui Binger had to be the last one to play. Others are more casual. When Huo Wushuang stepped forward, Seahorse Douluo slowly raised his hands, with a look of piety on his face. He raised his hands to his chest, with their palms facing each other half a foot apart. A faint blue light slowly appeared in the middle of his palms. The position caused the entire Seahorse sacred pillar platform to be filled with a clear blue light. Immediately afterwards, there was a flash of light below the Seahorse holy pillar, and a blue light spread up along the lines on the holy pillar. It rose to the top almost in the blink of an eye. It seemed like he was notifying Lord Poseidon that someone was coming to take the assessment. Seahorse Douluo turned around and faced Huo Wushuang, pointing his right hand at Huo Wushuang's body. A blue beam of light fell from the sky and enveloped Huo Wushuang's body. Huo Wushuang was a little dazed bathing in the beam of light, and he obviously didn't feel anything. the color of the light beam began to change, from blue to white. Immediately afterwards, it quickly changed from white to yellow, and then to purple almost without any pause, and the purple gradually deepened. After a short time, the purple light had completely turned into black, almost completely covering Huo Wushuang's body under the beam of light. On the Seahorse holy pillar behind Seahorse Douluo, the bottom lines began to turn black and gradually climbed upward. Immediately afterwards, a total of 6 black lights shot out, appeared in front of Huo Wushuang at the same time, turned into a 6-sided square light curtain, and imprinted into Huo Wushuang's eyebrows, forming a black 6-pointed star. The first black light has turned into a card and appeared on Huo Wu's hands. Seahorse Douluo smiled bitterly and said, 6 exams for the black level. 2 exams more than what I took before. Everyone looked at Seahorse Douluo, full of doubts. Seahorse Douluo explained, the 6th black level examination is the most difficult among the black level assessments. Among our 7 holy pillars, only Sea Dragon Douluo has passed the black level 6th examination. Now he is already a level 95 titled Douluo. In the past 100 years, there have been a total of 31 black level assessments, 24 of them failed the assessment, and only 7 succeeded. They are the current 7 sacred pillars of our Sea God Island. Each assessment of our Sea Soul Masters takes 10 years, and your land each assessment for a Soul Master only lasts for 1 year. Everyone looked at each other, but no one had any intention of backing down. For everyone, there is only forward and no retreat. If you want to retreat, you might as well die. At this time, Huo Wu stepped forward. Senior, please arrange for me to take the exam. Seahorse Douluo said in surprise, it's so dangerous, do you still want to take part in the assessment? Huo Wu said with a domineering face, if there is no danger, then it is not called an assessment. We are here for the assessment and we will not back down. Huo Wu's eyes were full of perseverance. Seahorse Douluo looked at everyone's determination and nodded, okay, very good, I will continue to arrange the assessment for you. Next, similarly, blue rays of light came from the 7 holy pillars, covering the fire dance. The light gradually changed from white to yellow, from yellow to purple, and finally from purple to black. Among them, black turned into red, 7 red rays of light sank into Huo Wu's eyebrows, and Seahorse Douluo next to him exclaimed, 7 red level exams. Seahorse Douluo saluted Huo Wu with great respect, hello, dear lady, I don't know why you were able to get the top 7 exams. I will work hard to serve you in Poseidon Island. Huo Wu said strangely, Senior, is there a big difference between the 7th test of the red level and the 6th test of the black level? Seahorse Douluo smiled and said, the black level assessment corresponds to our 7 sacred pillars, while the 7 red level assessments correspond to the great enshrinement of Poseidon Island. Most of our current Poseidons on Poseidon Island are also the red level 7 examinations. Moreover, in the history of Poseidon Island, there has never been a situation where one failed to pass the 7th test of the red level. Xiaofei next to him thought to himself, Huo Wu now has many faulty soul bones, including an external soul bone that can evolve. Moreover, after eating the heartbroken red, his physical fitness and talent are extremely high. No wonder he can reach the red level. 7 tests, Xiaofei thought for a while, walked forward, and said to Seahorse Douluo, Senior, please arrange my assessment. Seahorse Douluo nodded. He could clearly see that among the 7, Xiaofei was the youngest, but had the highest soul power level. As the core of these 7, the assessment would probably not be easy. Under the guidance of Seahorse Douluo, a blue light from the 7 sacred pillars covered Xiaofei's body. Xiaofei felt as if he was in an endless ocean. This power was somewhat similar to the vast sea universe barrier. Xiaofei only felt that the light in front of him changed from white to yellow, from yellow to purple, from purple to black, gradually turned into deep red, and finally turned into 9 blood-red rays of light, sinking into Xiaofei's eyebrows. Seahorse Douluo next to him was shocked. 9th red level test. Xiaofei asked in surprise, Senior, what is the 9th red level exam? Seahorse Douluo shook his head, I don't know what the 9th red level examination is. Let me introduce you. An ethereal voice came from the sky, which seemed unfathomable and out of reach. I saw a huge burst of red light falling from the sky, and a beautiful woman was wrapped in the red light. This woman is the most beautiful, majestic, and noble woman Xiaofei has ever seen. Xiaofei immediately understood that this should be sea god Douluo. Poseidon said to Xiaofei softly, "It's Poseidon, the great priest of Poseidon Island. Can you introduce yourself first?" Although the voice was soft, there seemed to be an irresistible majesty in it, as surging and deep as the sea. Xiaofei hurriedly saluted Poseidon. "Senior, I am Wang Xiaofei, with the martial soul fire phoenix, from the Element Academy." Poseidon nodded. "Xiaofei, the red level 9 test has never appeared in the history of Poseidon Island, which only shows that this person is of great significance to Poseidon Island and is a friend of Poseidon Island. Lord Poseidon has already sent down the oracle. Lord Poseidon knows what you want, you can rest assured to take the test." Xiaofei hurriedly thanked Poseidon and Poseidon. Suddenly, Xiaofei seemed to think of something and asked Poseidon, "Senior Poseidon, can I ask you a question?" Poseidon smiled and said, "Of course, Xiaofei, what's your question?" "Excuse me, Senior Poseidon, what's the difference between a sea soul master and a land soul master?" Poseidon smiled and said, "Both sea soul masters and land soul masters are essentially soul masters, but the difference is that the martial spirit of a sea soul master is mainly sea soul beasts, and they need to believe in the sea god." Xiaofei quickly pulled Shui to the front and said, "Senior Poseidon, this is my friend Shui. Her martial spirit is the Ice Phoenix, and the Ice Phoenix itself lives in the extreme north, which should also be the land ruled by the sea god. I think Shui should be considered a sea spirit master." Poseidon did not reply to Xiaofei's words, but looked at Shui carefully, as if he could see through Shui soul, and then gently asked, "Shui, can you believe in the sea god for life and never betray?" Shui thought about it, gritted her teeth. "I swear by my martial soul that I am willing to believe in the sea god for life and never betray." Poseidon smiled. "Congratulations to the Shui family of Qinshui College for returning to the sea god island. From now on, you are the people of the sea god. I hope you will always keep your oath." Hearing Poseidon's words, Xiaofei breathed a sigh of relief. Chapter 78 Shui. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Next is the assessment of Feng Xiaotian, Yang Pejuan and Niu Meng. Xiaofei did not pay attention to the two people's assessment, but pulled Shui to the side and whispered instructions, and at the same time stuffed the vast sea universe cover into Shui hand. Now Xiaofei has missed the 9th Poseidon exam, and his only hope is Shui. Shui had eaten the Bingxin Phoenix sunflower, and the Ice Phoenix was able to fully display its strength. Both its talent and martial spirit had reached an extremely high level, and it was extremely suitable for the inheritance of Poseidon. The only drawback is that Shui soul power level is relatively low. He can only pass the 6th black level test at most, and he will not be able to pass the first test of the 9th Poseidon test in 1 year. In the original work, Tang San could only complete it with all kinds of help and hard work. Next, Feng Xiaotian had another black level 6th test, and Seahorse Douluo felt a little numb. Yang Pejuan and Niu Meng, on the other hand, have taken the 4th black level test and are estimated to have the potential to be titled Douluo, but passing the test is more troublesome. Feng Xiaotian is worthy of the rare innate soul power. Although he is older, he still got the approval of the assessment. Finally, it was Shui who took the assessment. Shui held the vast sea universe cover in her right hand, and a blue light covered Shui body. The scene in front of Shui also gradually turned red. However, this red color did not seem to stop, and the red color became darker and darker. And finally turned into gold. 9 golden rays of light submerged into the water, and finally formed a golden trident between Binger's eyebrows. All the 7 sacred pillars emit bursts of blue light, seeming to be celebrating something. 9 Poseidon exams. Bo Saishi and Seahorse Douluo exclaimed. Bo Saishi looked serious and respectful, while Seahorse Douluo looked confused. Bo Saishi said softly, "Let me explain. Little girl, I have been waiting for you for 100 years. Poseidon Jiao Kao is the successor of Lord Poseidon. You must complete the assessment given to you by Poseidon with utmost determination. When you complete during all assessments, you will be the new generation of Poseidon. Seahorse Douluo, here goes the order. From now on, everyone on Poseidon Island must meet the conditions of these 7 people. They are the most distinguished guests of Poseidon Island. Looking at Shui Binger and the others who looked confused, Xiaofei walked over and said to Shui Binger, Poseidon Island is the place where Poseidon inherits the inheritance of God realm. Taking the Poseidon Island assessment is to participate in the assessment of God realm. The ultimate goal of the 9 Poseidon examinations just become a god. Amid everyone's doubts, Wu asked, is there really a god in this world? Is there a divine realm? Why haven't we heard of it before? Of course there are gods in this world, and there is also a divine realm. Poseidon Island is the inheritance of Poseidon, and the angel temple of Wuhuan Temple is the inheritance of angel god. But the last time someone became a god in Douluo world, it is estimated to have been traced back to 30,000 years ago. Then, Xiaofei said seriously, whether we become gods or not, the purpose of our coming to Poseidon Island this time is to become stronger. We must firm up our goals, constantly hone ourselves, and make ourselves stronger. Everyone nodded. Immediately afterwards, several people, led by Seahorse Douluo, arrived at Seahorse City near the Seahorse Holy Pillar. Seahorse City was small, but everyone sensed that there were more than 500 soul masters inside, and they were all high-level soul masters. The total number of residents exceeds 1,000 people. This is already the strength of a medium-sized sect. Moreover, Poseidon Island has the 7 sacred pillars. It is said that the 3,500 soul masters on Poseidon Island are probably all high-level soul masters. The overall strength even surpasses the legendary Haotian sect, the number 1 sect in the world. Everyone swallowed. After arriving at Haima City, Haima Douluo arranged for him to live in the city lord's mansion. Xiaofei quickly organized everyone to confirm the content of everyone's assessment. Wu Shuang said in a deep voice, my first test is very strange. It's called time traveled Poseidon's light. What about you? That everyone nodded. All the assessments were to pass through the Poseidon's light. Wu said, my first test, time traveled light of Poseidon. Reminder, go to the core forbidden area of Poseidon Island, climb the 108 steps in front of the forbidden area. It is considered to have passed the test. You can quit midway, and the time limit is 1 year. To travel through Poseidon's light, you have to climb 136 steps, Wu Shuang said, mine is level 108. Feng Xiaotian smiled and said, mine is also level 108. Yang Pejuan and Niu Meng looked at each other, we are at level 88. Everyone looked at Shui Binger and Xiaofei. Xiaofei smiled bitterly and said, mine is double Poseidon's light, level 333. Shui Binger is the same. But because Shui Binger is a sea soul master, her time is 10 years. And all of us soul masters are 1 year. Xiaofei couldn't help complaining in his heart, Poseidon, you didn't give me the Poseidon 9th exam, but the difficulty is the same as the Poseidon 9th exam. Isn't this a lie? After careful calculation, among all the people, Wu Shuang would probably have the easiest time, and the rest of the staff should be able to practice hard, so it shouldn't be a problem. Yang Pejuan and Niu Meng are fighting soul masters. Although their levels are low, their physical strength is good. It is estimated that they should be able to pass it in a year. The most difficult thing is probably myself. Although he was sure to break through level 80, it was still very difficult to climb level 333 without any assistance. In the original book, Tang San was over level 70, and he almost failed in the end. Xiaofei couldn't help but want to complain again. In the God realm, in the Poseidon Hall, 2 huge figures sat opposite each other, one blue and one red. Between the 2 of them is a tea table with various tea utensils placed on it. The blue figure took a sip of tea. Vulcan, what do you think of the tea here? It's quite tasty. That the red figure is actually the god of fire, and the blue figure is also the god of Poseidon. Vulcan took the teacup and took a sip directly. I don't feel anything. I don't know why you like to drink this kind of thing. That the sea god was speechless. this is the tea grown from the tea tree of the goddess of life. It is the best tea. It's a waste to give it to you. The god of fire said directly, I just like to drink. The taste of tea is so bland. It's meaningless. Sea god, why did you give the 9 tests of sea god to that little girl of Ice Phoenix? Although this little girl has good talent and water attribute is very suitable for you. But with her talent, it is estimated that she is at most a second-level god. Don't make the weakest sea god. The sea god smiled, I have been in the god realm for tens of thousands of years. This little girl with Ice Phoenix martial spirit has decent talent and martial spirit. She also has the heart of sea god in her hand. What's the problem with arranging the 9 tests of sea god for her? This little girl's ancestors originally came from Sea God Island, and she is also a lineage of my Sea God Island. Each of the 9 tests of sea god lasts for 10 years, which adds up to a total of in 90 years. If I meet someone more suitable, I will let this girl be a second-level god, or directly recommend her to the ice god. If there is no more suitable one, she should be able to inherit my sea god position in 90 years. Looking at the sea god's wise look, the fire god couldn't help but roll his eyes at the sea god. You are really good at calculating. The sea god smiled and said, it's because the talents of those who have participated in the assessment in recent years are a little low. By the way, what do you think of the kid with the fire phoenix martial spirit? It is very suitable for your inheritance of the position of god. Morning nodded, this kid's martial spirit and flame are very good, and his strength is okay, but they are a little cunning. The fire god is as blazing as a raging fire. He still needs to practice more. Sea god, you should make his sea god 9 tests more difficult for me, and give him more training. The sea god kept complaining in his heart, if it wasn't completely opposite to my attributes, how could this kid give it to you, the fire god? Now it's good, but he is showing off in front of me. What did the sea god suddenly think of? He smiled and said, God of fire, I think this kid seems to have a bit of God Shura's divinity. Will God Shura come to snatch your heir? That god of fire's face changed slightly. Not really, God Shura is at least one of the law enforcers in the god realm, and is also a god king whose strength ranks among the top 5 in the god realm. He probably won't be interested in this kid. Suddenly, a red light flashed, and a huge blood-red figure came out. The man was tall and mighty, wearing red armor, and looked even more murderous. It turned out to be God Shura. Meet God Shura. The god of the sea and the god of fire saluted quickly, but they kept complaining in their hearts, speaking of you, you came out, are you spying on the 2 of us? The sea god hurriedly said, please sit down, Lord Shura. I wonder how Lord Shura has time to visit my sea god temple today. Lord Shura looked at the 2 of them, I just came to the sea god temple during my inspection, and came in to see if you have done anything illegal. We are just tasting tea here. How can it be illegal? The 2 gods were very respectful on the surface, but they kept complaining in their hearts, speaking of violations, who in the entire god realm can compare to you, Lord Shura? While drinking tea, Lord Shura said, this tea is good. God of fire, you can also taste tea. I'm glad you didn't violate the rules. You must not interfere with the normal development of Douluo. The 2 gods complained even more, and even Douluo knew about it. Chapter 79, Light of Poseidon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sea God Island, Seahorse City, City Lord's Mansion. Yang Pejuan said to the purple-clothed soul master who led the group, please take us to the place where the first test of the sea god will be as soon as possible. Yang Pejuan and Niu Meng were the lowest level, and they were under the greatest pressure, and they were eager to improve. The purple-clothed soul master asked, what is your first test? After the purple-clothed soul master knew that Xiaofei and the other 7 people were all tested by the light of the crossing sea god, he instantly became more respectful to everyone. Several examinees. Your test needs to be in the forbidden area in the center of the sea god island. I will take you there now. The forbidden area is about 200 kilometers away from here, so you have to hurry there. After speaking, the purple-clothed soul master revealed 7 soul rings, and he turned out to be a soul saint. The purple-clothed soul master turned into a strange sea soul beast and rushed to the central location at a high speed. Xiaofei and the other 7 also summoned their martial souls and followed the purple-clothed soul master. It was only a 200-kilometer journey, and Xiaofei and the other 7 arrived at the forbidden area of the sea god island after 2 hours of rushing. What Xiaofei and the others saw was a huge palace. Below the palace was a straight staircase with 1001 steps, like a road from the mortal world to the divine world. The entire staircase seemed to be shrouded in a golden light, full of solemnity and majesty. The purple-clothed soul master said to everyone, "The staircase in front of you is your first test, the light of the sea god. Your test is to cross the corresponding staircase level." Niu Meng smiled and said, "It turns out that crossing the light of the sea god is to climb the stairs. I didn't expect it to be so simple." Everyone didn't want to pay attention to Niu Meng. "I think he is just a reckless man, and anyone who pays attention to him will lose their IQ." Xiaofei looked at everyone and said, "Let me try it first." Xiaofei wanted to try his strength first, especially the strength of his pure body. Xiaofei took the lead in stepping into the light of the sea god. There were bursts of pressure in the air, a bit like the gravity pressure of the soul saint when Xiaofei was training before, but the pressure of the light of the sea god seemed to include everything. Xiaofei didn't pay attention to so much for the time being, and climbed up the stairs of the light of the sea god first. When Xiaofei climbed to the 50th floor, the pressure began to increase significantly. When he reached the 100th floor, the pressure seemed to have reached the limit of his physical body. Xiaofei summoned his martial soul and continued to climb. When Xiaofei climbed to the 170th floor, he was close to the limit of Xiaofei's state. Xiaofei gritted his teeth and used the whole-body phoenix transformation. Xiaofei instantly turned into a human-shaped fire phoenix, and the pressure was reduced a lot. In the end, Xiaofei stayed at around the 250th floor. Of course, this was without using the killing god domain and the external soul bone. Xiaofei estimated that if he played his trump card in and out, he might be able to reach around 320 floors, but the last 10 floors might be more difficult. In the top of the sea god temple, Poseidon looked at Xiaofei's actions. Yes, the physical fitness of the beast soul will indeed be better, and Xiaofei seems to have mastered the dragon transformation similar to the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. It is worthy of the red level 9 test, and the first level of the Sea God Island test should not be difficult for him. When Xiaofei returned to the bottom of the stairs, everyone seemed a little frustrated. It turned out that everyone had tried to climb just now, but they were all not ideal. Yang Pejuan and Niu Meng only climbed up to the 35th floor, Feng Xiaotian and Shui Binger climbed up to the 50th floor, Huo Wu climbed to the 80th floor, and the easiest one was Huo Wushuang, who actually reached the 90th floor. Xiaofei analyzed in his mind. Sure enough, everyone's assessment results were similar to what he expected. Seeing everyone's frustrated expressions, Xiaofei rolled his eyes and said to everyone, "The assessment given by Lord Haiqing to all of us is based on our physical fitness, innate soul power, martial soul, etc. Since Lord Poseidon can give us this level of assessment, we believe that we can do it. I think that traveling through the light of the sea god is a test, but I think it is an opportunity for training. If it is a simple test, why does the sea god give the sea soul master 10 years and give us 1 year? Just now I found on the stairs that whether it is meditation speed, physical recovery, or training effect, it is much faster than usual. It can be said that the light of the sea god is a perfect training mimic environment. The assessment given to me by the sea god should take our training progress into account, so in the next year, we must practice under the pressure of the light of the sea god and strive to break through as soon as possible." After listening to Xiaofei's words, several people obviously gained confidence and were ready to try the effect of practicing under the light of the sea god. Then, Xiaofei said to the purple-clothed soul master who had not left yet, "Senior, please send enough fresh water and food every day. The 7 of us will train in the light of the sea god in the future." The 7 people tried to practice under the light of the sea god. Sure enough, as Xiaofei said, the soul power would increase faster and it would be easier to break through the bottleneck. Xiaofei knew that the greatest effect of the light of the sea god was to improve people's physical fitness and soul power, and it could even be said to reshape the human body, and it was an improvement without any side effects. In the following time, Xiaofei and the other 7 people practiced day and night in the light of the sea god, almost without rest. Except for the time for eating, the whole steppe was very quiet. Every few days, everyone would climb the stairs with all their strength, and every time they would try their best to break through their own limits. Then practice at a level that is more suitable for them. Yang Pejuan and Niu Meng, because of their low level and improved talent after eating the fairy grass, they could upgrade to a level in less than 1.5 months. Feng Xiaotian and Shui Binger needed nearly 2 months to upgrade to a level. The slowest Xiaofei's 3 soul saints estimated that it would take 3 months to upgrade to a level. Xiaofei worked hard to cultivate to a higher level, hoping to be able to upgrade to Soul Douluo within a year. After Xiaofei and others cultivated in the light of the sea god for 3 months, a huge blue light came from the 7 sacred pillars in the distance, as if someone else came to participate in the sea god test. Xiaofei looked at the blue light of the 7 sacred pillars in the distance, and suddenly thought that Tang San and the others should also come to the sea god island to participate in the test. Xiaofei couldn't help but smile. Tang San's opportunities are much worse than in the original work, Immortal Grass, Killing God Domain, 100,000 Years Blue Silver Emperor Right Leg Bone, Vast Sea Universe Cover. These Tang San has none of them. Without these, can Tang San still get the Sea God 9 tests? Even if Tang San has the Sea God 9 tests, can he still pass it? Tang San in the original work had several tests and almost failed. Moreover, Shui Binger is already the Sea God 9 tests. If there is another Sea God 9 tests, who will inherit the Sea God position in the future? Thinking of these things, Xiaofei couldn't help but smile. Sure enough, the 7 sacred pillars continued to flash, and half a day later, Tang San and his group of 8 people came to the vicinity of the sea god's light. Both Huo Wu and Tang San were very surprised. The other party actually came to the sea god island to train. Xiaofei carefully observed the eyebrows of everyone, and Tang San was actually holding a golden sea god trident. After losing many opportunities, Tang San was still able to get the sea god's 9 tests. The difficulty of the tests for others dropped a lot. Except for Dai Mubai, who was in the black level 6 test, the rest of the Shrek's 7 devils became black level 4 tests, and Bai Qinxiang was still in the yellow level 1 test. After greeting Tang San and others, Xiaofei continued his own training. Chapter 80, Passing Through the Light of Poseidon. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. In the following time, Tang San and his 7 people practiced in a similar way to Xiaofei and his 7 people. Both sides took root under the light of the sea god. They practiced, and basically did nothing irrelevant. Bai Qinxiang was not qualified to go to the light of the sea god. The 2 sides rarely communicated with each other, especially Yang Pejuan and Niu Meng, who seemed to be more repulsive to Tang San's team. Xiaofei carefully observed the levels of Shrek and others. Tang San was level 65, probably because of Xiao Wu's sacrifice. Dai Mubai was level 58, Oscar and Zhu Zhuqing were level 54, Ning Rongrong and Ma Hongjun were all level 52, all of them were over level 50 at the age of 20, which could be considered geniuses, but due to the lack of fairy grass, they were still much worse than the original. Ma Hongjun was a little beyond expectations. It was probably because Flanders listened to Xiaofei's training method and increased Ma Hongjun's training volume, and he seemed to be a little thinner than the original. After another 4 months, everyone's strength seemed to have improved to a certain extent, and Dai Mubai was the first to break through the bottleneck. He was also the first one to reach the bottleneck among all the people. A red light flashed in the sky, and Poseidon flew over gracefully from the sky. Seeing this, everyone hurriedly saluted. Poseidon waved his hand and said, "I came for Dai Mubai, to solve your current troubles." Looking at Dai Mubai's puzzled expression, Poseidon smiled and said, "Any examiner who passes the black level or above assessment will be given a God-given soul ring when he encounters a soul power bottleneck for the first time. The God-given soul ring can provide the most suitable soul skills for you." After speaking, a small golden ball in Poseidon's hand slowly flew in front of Dai Mubai. Looking at Dai Mubai's puzzled expression, Poseidon smiled and said, "The way to let you absorb the soul ring is to use soul power to attract the God-given soul ring." Dai Mubai followed his words, sat cross-legged on the ground, closed his eyes and began to use soul power to attract the God-given soul ring. A golden breath enveloped Dai Mubai, and as Dai Mubai showed a painful expression on his face, time passed bit by bit. After a whole day, Dai Mubai roared like a tiger roaring in the mountains, showing an infinite kingly aura. A huge black soul ring covered Dai Mubai, which was estimated to be far beyond the so-called soul ring absorption limit. Without paying attention to Dai Mubai's situation, Xiaofei and the other 7 continued to practice hard to improve every bit of their soul power. During the meal, Xiaofei said to everyone seriously, "You should climb the sea god's light ladder regularly in the future, try to practice on the highest ladder that suits you, and break through your limits again and again, so that you can better absorb the God-given soul ring and improve yourself more. The sea god's light is a power far beyond our level. No matter what, it will not damage our foundation or cause us too much harm, so make good use of the remaining time and work hard to improve yourself." Everyone nodded seriously. Next, everyone worked harder and harder to practice and strive to break through their limits. Of course, Huo Wu and Huo Wushuang were more depressed. Both of them could complete the assessment and could only practice in a suitable place. After all, opportunities are rare. Half a month before the end of the first level assessment, Yang Pejuan and Niumeng finally reached level 60. After absorbing a God-given soul ring, both of them reached level 62. Feng Xiaotian had reached level 70 a few months ago. After absorbing the soul ring, he reached level 72. Now he is level 73. Shui Binger reached level 68, Huo Wu is now level 77, and Huo Wushuang is level 76. None of the 3 have reached the bottleneck of absorbing the God-given soul ring. Xiaofei reached level 79. Although his level has been stabilized, he is still a long way from level 80, according to the levels of everyone and the results of the previous few climbs. It should not be a problem to complete the first level of the sea god. And Xiaofei continued to work hard to break through. Half a month later, this day was the last day of the first level assessment of Xiaofei and 7 people. Even Tang San and his people came down the steps. Everyone watched the assessment of Xiaofei and his group. The first one to go up was Yang Pejuan, who was also the only weapon soul master among all the people. Yang Pejuan had stopped practicing for 2 days. He was preparing. He summoned his martial soul, the soul-breaking spear, and looked at the light of the sea god with a pair of eyes as sharp as an eagle's. Yang Pejuan went up step by step and began to climb the stairs. As he walked, the pressure on Yang Pejuan became greater and greater, but Yang Pejuan's speed became faster and faster, as if he had an indomitable momentum. At about the 60th floor, it seemed that Yang Pejuan's body had reached its limit. Yang Pejuan's 6 soul rings lit up at the same time, and all 6 soul skills were superimposed. He stabbed forward, and Yang Pejuan continued to run forward with the power of the stab. In the end, Yang Pejuan actually ran past the 88th step and reached the 95th step. And he was already exhausted. A voice came from the sky to Yang Pejuan's mind. Yang Pejuan, forge ahead, break through your own limits, pass the first of the 4 black level tests, reward soul power increase by 1 level, all soul rings increase by 500 years. Ma Hongjun next to him asked Tang San, "Brother San, this Yang Pejuan's last move seemed very terrifying, not like the strength that a soul emperor can achieve. How did he do it?" Tang San frowned. Yang Pejuan is a member of the Pei clan. Martial soul spirit gun. The soul gun is a top weapon. Martial soul. All soul rings of the Pei clan are offensive soul skills. Among the soul masters of the same level, they have the strongest destructive power. And their desperate attack can use all soul skills at the same time. However, since the whole clan is offensive soul skills, their defense and other aspects will be relatively poor, and it is difficult to last long. Hearing Tang San's words, he suddenly felt very surprised. Next was Niumeng. Niumeng climbed at the same speed as Yang Pejuan, 1 step at a time, like a turtle's pace. The better the steps, the slower the speed, but he could still move forward. In the end, Niumeng slowly passed the 88th step. Niumeng also heard the voice in his mind. Niumeng, the first of the 4 black level tests passed, and the soul power increased by 1 level. As for Feng Xiaotian, it was relatively simple. Feng Xiaotian turned into a two-headed demon wolf with a gust of wind, and climbed hard on the steps, and finally passed the 108th step. The final reward was a soul power increase of 1 level. Next was Huo Wushuang. Huo Wushuang would be relatively simple. After all, he was already level 76, and he had many soul bones over 10,000 years old. Huo Wushuang tried his best and climbed directly to the 118th step. A voice sounded in Huo Wushuang's mind. Huo Wushuang, go forward bravely, break through your own limits, increase your soul power by 1 level, and increase the age of all soul rings by 500 years. At this point, only Xiaofei and Huo Wu were left in Xiaofei's group, and they were also the two with the highest difficulty among all of them. Shui Binger still had plenty of time, so there was no rush for the time being, and she couldn't pass it now.